54 days until open enrollment is set to begin for Obamacare's new insurance marketplace. But as the deadline looms, another sign that the president's signature achievement is in trouble. A new report admits there is no security firewall protecting your personal data from hackers, identity thieves, and many other federal agencies. That report found that the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, they are months behind in testing data security. That means everything from Social Security numbers, income, family status, citizenship could all be at risk, making the federal Obamacare data hub ripe for ID theft, which is already a problem in this country. Here now to break it all down is Mark Hanna. He's a Democratic analyst, former campaign aide for both John Kerry and President Obama. And we welcome back Dr. Scott Gottleib, a practicing physician, resident fellow with the American Enterprise Institute. Scott Gottleib, go to you. Along with this, we have more things are surfacing. Now it turns out the whole security system has not been tested and could just unravel.
Right, there's two pieces to this, the portal and the hub. We're talking here about the hub, which allows the government to share information across different agencies to help ensure eligibility for the exchanges and for the subsidies. I don't think they're going to work that hard on getting this right. Frankly, it looks like they're working on the honor system. I think the bigger problem is going to be the portal. The portal is a federal system set up to allow people to actually enroll in plans. So that's where people go and give in all their personal information to try to select the plan. 14 states decided to build this on their own. All the other states are sharing a federal portal, and the government hasn't built that yet, and now they're having problems with that, and they've exempted themselves from the Privacy Act. They said the Privacy Act won't apply to their own portal because they're having problems ensuring data security there, too.
That's what's so great about this whole story, Mark Hanna. Yeah. We don't really have to defund Obamacare. Obamacare is defunding and imploding itself. Look, Mark, you can't tell me that people are going to sign up for this thing knowing that there's identity theft on the other side, knowing that there are no security firewalls. I mean, the tests were supposed to be in May 13th. That deadline was missed. June 3rd to 7th, that deadline was missed. Now they have till September 30th. You think this is going to get done?
I think it'll get done for sure. You just had Kathleen Sebelius today, the head of Health and Human Services, said they are all systems go for this October 1st launch. And look, the Inspector General report, which Scott is referring to, that was collecting data that was back in May. There have been substantial improvements to this infrastructure in the intervening months, and there's no question whatsoever that the Obama administration places the security of personal data at the forefront, and they're not going to launch it if there's any question whatsoever that information is going to be jeopardized.
There's going to be a massive question,
There's
Scott
a question
Gottlieb,
that's being
just because
raised by Republicans.
September 30th is the cutoff date for the next set of tests, and the thing starts October 1st. Scott Gottlieb, do you honestly think, let's take young people who are worried about identity theft, for example. You think they're going to sign up knowing there's no security firewalls? I mean, this is worse than the banks. This is worse than the credit cards. This is identity theft. I just don't believe that.
And the navigators, I mean, there's a lot of opportunity for fraud there, too. I think a lot of people aren't going to get into this market, and they're not going to hit their enrollment targets. And a lot of the people who do get into this market are going to be people who have pre-existing conditions and need the insurance. And the insurance companies are figuring that out, too. And that's why you're seeing Aetna and other insurers announce in the last couple of weeks that they're not going to play in a lot of markets. This doesn't look like a very attractive market. And so you could set in motion an insurance death spiral in year one where this really doesn't get off the ground effectively. They will get this off the ground. Whether or not they get off the ground effectively, that's what's shaping up.
Well, Mark Hanna, in addition to the security problem, you still got yourself a verification problem. And I'm talking about the individual mandate here. I'm putting the business mandate aside. You got a security problem, and you got a verification problem, as Scott Gottlieb suggested. You could have, I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of people go on there that shouldn't be on there. They shouldn't be eligible. Maybe that's a tactic that you all want. I think that's just ripping off the Treasury Department.
Whatever you think about the federal government and different bureaucracies, and I know you're not necessarily a fan, Larry, but one thing they can do is enroll people, millions of people, in different programs, whether it's the IRS, Social Security. They have experience doing this. Nobody thought, for example, Medicare, when it launched, was going to succeed. They thought it was going to have these false starts.
Oh, that's completely different. That is the most ridiculous thing. That is nothing nothing to do with anything. Look,
listen,
don't tell me. You're mentioning the IRS? Boy, if I were you, I wouldn't use that as an example right now, as the IRS, as the confidential agency. But I'm speaking of the government's capacity, in a data collection sense, to verify the eligibility of people coming into that system. That's what I'm speaking of. They admitted, they acknowledged that the system's broken, and it's not going to get fixed by October 1st.
Now, here's the thing. The Republicans are doomsdaying this. They are predicting that it will fail, and then they're doing everything in their power to make it fail. No question whatsoever that when this launches on October 1st, there may be a few hiccups. There might be some problems with enrollment and minor fixes along the way. But what this is going to take is goodwill and good faith of both on a bipartisan level of people to make the law of the land work, instead of trying to bypass the democratic process and hijack or completely cripple this launch.
Hey, listen, Republicans,
which is what Republicans are doing.
Republicans are not screwing up the verification system. That is coming from the government, the HHS people who are there.
We don't know that it's screwed up.
The Republicans are not screwing up the security system. That's coming from HHS. I mean, you can blame the Republicans left and right for a whole lot of things. You can talk about defunding. That's a different conversation. But it's the government. It's the agencies. It's the bureaucracies themselves. When you have a takeover of 15% of the economy, you got to expect this stuff to happen.
And there's private insurance fraud right now. Is there a little bit of fraud within the IRS? For sure, but is the susceptibility to any sort of fraud or any sort of mistakes going to prevent us from insuring the vast majority of Americans, which is historic.
Mark Hanna,
we should be proud of it.
Nice try. Dr. Scott Gottlieb, appreciate you coming on.